In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can take just 5 minutes to implement this habit that most business owners completely overlook. Get ready for this to be your competitive advantage so that referral partners continue to send business your way and clients buy from you again and again. This habit is going to help set you apart from the crowd. And before I get into it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you are getting value from these videos. This is the foundation. It's the golden rule of relationship sales. It is saying thank you and expressing your gratitude. And if you are someone who loves building relationships and relationships are a priority in your business, you want to make sure you're implementing this regularly in your business. And this isn't about just being nice. Of course, you want to express your gratitude and you want to acknowledge somebody, but it's more of a strategic move. This is how you get referral partners to prioritize sending business to you over people who do the same thing that you do. This is how you get clients to want to work with you and renew with you as opposed to thinking about working with somebody else. And it's one of those where you're going to hear people feel burned if they don't get thank you. And I can tell you this, when I first joined my very first networking group, this was when I first started business. This lesson stood out to me so clearly because I remember meeting someone who she ran a dessert food truck. She sold little cookies out of her food truck. And she was so angry at a fellow member in the chapter, in the networking chapter, who didn't say thank you when she got them a $200,000 referral project. And that was one of the reasons she left. And so people remember when they aren't given thank you, when they aren't acknowledged for something that they did, whether it was facilitating an introduction or saying yes to working with you or investing with you. And if you think about yourself personally, maybe you've been a long-time patron or client at a hair salon, for example. And if the owner never said thank you, if the owner never expressed their gratitude, you would remember that. And so you want to think about, how can I prevent someone from feeling maybe that frustration or annoyance with me? And how can I prevent that person from leaving and wanting to go work with somebody else or thinking about building a relationship with somebody else over me? So this is why it's so important. Again, it's not just because it's about being nice. Of course, that's what we want to do in business. We want to express that gratitude just in general, but really it's a strategic move that you could potentially be missing out on because who knows, time, you get busy, you forget to say thank you, or more importantly, you don't know how to say thank you. And you might think that the only way you can say thank you is by sending someone a referral back, or you have to spend a lot of money. And what I want to show you is that you don't actually have to necessarily send a referral or give people money if that's not what you want to do. There's lots of ways that you can be creative, and I'm only going to show you maybe a handful of things that you can implement, but it's going to get the wheels spinning, hopefully, for you to think, okay, I can start doing this regularly and it's not going to take a lot of time and it's not going to take a lot of effort. And that person is going to feel incredible because I just did this. So I hope you're excited. I'm going to dig in now and I'm going to start with the first category of ways that you can say thank you. And the first is just public recognition. Recognition could be something as simple as maybe it's a shout out on social media. Again, if you are someone who works B2B and you work with business owners like I do, most business owners are looking for more eyeballs on their social media platforms, on their content. They're looking for more engagement. How can you help them with that? If there's someone who posted a really great video or just a piece of social media content, can you share it? Can you comment on it? Can you tag someone who would benefit from seeing it? Could you as well, if you're someone who sends out a newsletter, you might have an email database and you send out regular communications to your newsletter followers. Can you give this person a shout out? If this is someone who just referred to you and you know that they are looking for more clients themselves, can you give them a quick shout out? If they are someone who is a client of yours and they just renewed, can you celebrate them in the newsletter and potentially get more eyeballs on them depending on what their goals are? Or maybe you give them some website recognition. Maybe you kind of feature them as a case study or success story, a client hall of fame. You've probably seen those on people's websites before. Or maybe you start compiling, if you're a B2B person, a list of preferred vendors. If this is someone you like to refer to, a referral partner of yours, you could have your favorite web designers, your favorite copywriters, your favorite social media creators, whoever you end up working with, you could curate that list and have that as a trusted list of vendors that you pass out to all of your new clients. I mean, that is gold for a lot of business owners, just to have that preferential, like, go talk to this person opportunity at their fingertips. Those are just three very easy ways that you can recognize a referral partner or a client who just renewed, and they're going to feel amazing. And it didn't take really any time, energy, or effort, because you already probably have a website. You already have a preferred list of vendors. You just need to write them down. And taking a few moments on social media to give them a shout out is not going to be a heavy lift for you. So that's number one, just give a public recognition. The next is personalized appreciation. And if you're an old school, like, pen and paper person like I am, you might love writing handwritten thank you notes. And there's nothing more, when everyone does an email thank you, there's nothing more special than doing the opposite of what everybody's doing. So maybe that's just a simple handwritten thank you on a beautiful piece of stationery. And you express your gratitude for either receiving a referral or for that client renewing for, I don't know, the first, the second, the third, the fourth, however many times they've chosen to renew with you. You acknowledge that and you celebrate that and you get excited for them. You might, if you're someone who's more digital, like, you don't necessarily have to send an email. You could send a voice note or a video, right? You send that to them and you get them, just really feeling the love and feeling the appreciation that you have for them because they can see you or they can hear you. Again, it's not just a text, it's not just an email. Or you might remember certain key dates. And I'm not just talking about birthdays, because everyone defaults to birthdays and that feels just so kind of lazy and an easy way. I would encourage you to think about certain milestones. So whether that's, something big like a business anniversary, or maybe it's been a year since they quit their job and they started their business, or if you're a financial advisor, maybe it's the person just finally bought the home that they had been wanting to buy. Or if you're a real estate agent, maybe it's the person who finally, they're expecting their first baby after they've been trying for so long. Whatever it is, find those milestones or those key dates that are not a birthday. And that's going to make the person feel like, wow, they really remember me and they know who, they know more about me than just, my birthday that's on Facebook that they could easily find. And so again, none of this, as you're seeing with these first two categories, is taking a lot of time, energy, or effort. You just have to remember to do it. But you're going to feel so good after you do it, and that person receiving that message is going to remember that. That's the most important thing here. The next step is you could do some relationship boosting gestures. Now, this, again, it all depends on the context of how you know the person, and it depends on the relationship you have with the referral partner. It depends on the relationship you have with the client. But one of the things you could think about is, what is this person looking to do? So for example, I'm a B2B person. I sell to other business owners. So I know that they're often looking for other clients. They're looking for amazing speaking opportunities. They're looking for more visibility. So how can I help them with that? Oftentimes that can look like, yes, connecting them with a potential client. But if I know someone who's hosting a business event and they're looking for breakout speakers or panel speakers, and I know this person would be a fit, I'm going to make sure I facilitate a connection. If I run into a podcast host who's looking for guest speakers on a certain topic, and that person fits the category, I'm going to make sure I facilitate a connection. So you can see it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, I've got to send them back a referral, or I've got to give them a percentage of the sale if I closed a sale that they sent to me. You can get much more creative and show that you're really invested in that person's success by doing that example. The next is, you could, like, let's say you have your own platform. Let's say you have a YouTube channel, a podcast, you regularly host, social media lives, whatever it is that you do. If you have a platform, you can invite them in as a guest to speak to your tribe, to speak to your network, and add value by sharing, they could teach on a topic. You could have a dialogue conversation. You can get really creative, but think about, how can this person come in and add value to my community, and how can I, not only love on the people who are following me, but how can I love on this person and give them a platform to share their expertise and potentially get some business from it. And finally, you might consider doing some value add acts. And again, I want you to be thinking about, this doesn't necessarily require you to open your wallet. This doesn't require you to send somebody business, but You're actively, as a business owner, you are constantly finding new tools, new resources, whether they're things that you create or whether it's from somebody else. You're constantly finding those things. And you could just see, like, oh, I found this new AI tool. I know that this person who just referred to me would benefit from this. So I'm going to send this to them. And don't overthink it. You don't have to send this long winded email. You could just say, hey, I know you're trying to create more content in your business. I just found this really cool AI tool. Don't know if you know about it or not, but I figured I'd send it your way. Like, that's so easy. And the fact that it makes it feel like, oh, they remembered that detail about me or they were thinking about me makes that person feel that connection with you. And again, they're more likely to either refer to you or want to work with you. And then you can ultimately invite them into other opportunities. So, kind of like the other relationship boosting gesture, if you've got your own platform, but if you've got something that you're working on, whether it's a book, whether it's a launch of some sort, if you're launching a particular service or product, whatever it is that you're doing, you might be thinking about how might that person be able to collaborate with me on this, be featured in this. And again, my whole goal with it is how can I give them more visibility, more eyeballs, more attention, and potentially more business as a result. So you don't have to do all of these. You don't have to do every single step, like for each person, but you might cherry pick and decide based on the relationship you have and based on what they're trying to do, which one makes the most sense. So if they're a business owner, I would definitely go for the relationship boosting gestures or value add acts. How can you give them a platform? How can you give them more visibility? If they're more of a client and they don't necessarily own a business themselves, how might you be able to give them a little bit more public recognition if it's appropriate? Or how might you be able to personalize your appreciation for them? And all of these take maybe a matter of minutes. You just have to remember to do them. So at this point, you might be asking yourself, well, okay, so I express all my gratitude. I do these things to my referral partners and my clients, but how do I make sure that I continue to get referrals? How do I make sure that clients continue to buy? Well, let's get on a call. Go to the link in the description. Let's book a time to talk with each other, and we can turn your gratitude into a system that continues to send business your way.